Naruto God Level System, Chapter 1001-1020. Chapter 1002. Sonoko left with a flick of his sleeves and stared at Hattori Heiji ill-naturedly. He also asked Shaolin to teach Hattori Heiji a lesson, but although Shaolin was also very bad to Hattori Heiji, she didn't say, "Hadok to mother, it's wrong for you to beat people." Hime looked at him dissatisfiedly. Hattori Heiji said, "Ayumi is very fond of Chen. So now I don't have a good impression of Hattori Heiji. Yeah, he actually shot someone, and he deserves to be beaten now. Brother Hyuga is completely self-defense." Mitsuhiko also said. He also accused Hattori Heiji, which made Hattori Heiji even more angry. "Especially if you want to be a big guy. I used to look at him before, but now it seems that he is carrying a Byakugan wolf on his back. It is not as good as a Byakugan wolf." Suddenly Hattori Heiji became the target of public criticism. Only Conan supports Hattori Heiji, but Conan's support is useless. In Shaolin's eyes, Conan's current behavior has become ignorant. Hattori Heiji looked at Hyuga Chen, snorted coldly, swept his sleeves away, and then went down the mountain alone. "I don't want to stay here and get angry." Moreover, the injury he suffered also required treatment for only 23 lines. So he went down the mountain. Conan looked at Hattori Heiji and thought about it. "Chase. I am sorry Chen. Yuan-shan and Yi were embarrassed to teach Chen Yun, causing Chen to be stunned. Chuan, Yi, this matter has nothing to do with you. Why do you apologize to me?" Chen Shangyi said, "If it wasn't for me, Hattori Heiji wouldn't have come here, and he did something with it. Part of the reason for me. So I do need to apologize." Toyama and Yi said, "At most, this is Hattori Heiji's business, and you don't need to take it on yourself, and the injured person is not always me." Chen shrugged, said, "He didn't have anything at all. The injured person was Hattori Heiu, and he was also knocked out of the West Kiba, so he didn't care at all. Anyway, he didn't have a plate. It's always like this, but I still feel sorry." Toyama and Yi said, hating Hattori Heiji more and more. He would beat people at every turn, and I don't know why he became like this. It became like this partly because of her. I'm going to see Brother Heiji. Conan glared at Chen. "Then run down the mountain. They've all gone, so what should we do? Do you want to follow?" Yuantai asked Mitsuhiko. "Follow up and have a look. Ayumi, are you going?" Guangdu shouted to Ayumi. "You guys go, I want to stay here." Ayumi shook her head. Then Yuantai and Mitsuhiko trotted to catch up with Conan and Hattori Heiji. After all, they came with them, mainly because Yuantai, Mitsuhiko and Chen were not familiar with each other. Now that Conan and Hattori Heiji left, they felt embarrassed. Stay here. Well, when the two of them are embarrassed, it's really rare. "It's time, get ready to eat. I'm already hungry." After Nada left, Sonoko was in a much better mood. "Well, let's climb the mountain. I'm really hungry. It's my fault that I ate too little in the morning." He rubbed his stomach and said, "Because I want to lose weight. So I didn't eat too much. Now climbing the mountain consumes a lot of physical strength, so I feel hungry." In fact, Hisuan is not fat, but girls like to lose weight. After spending a day on Peak Street, although the scenery is good, there is no point in watching it all the time. So Chen and the others went, and after going down the mountain, they stayed in the Suzuki family villa for one night. Left early the next morning. After returning, Chen took them to the amusement park for a day. "See you tomorrow." Xiao Lanhe and Yi waved to Chen, and then went home. Then Chen sent Yuanzi home again, and then went back with Xiao Ai. "Xiao Ai, did you have a good time?" After returning, Mingmei asked Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai glanced at Chen, then shook her head and said, "Some are unhappy." Today, Chen Huang was talking to other people, and even Xiao Ai forgot about it. Of course Xiao Ai wasn't happy anymore. She looked at Chen and was full of resentment. Chen couldn't understand why Xiao Ai would complain about him, and I really don't know where to provoke her. "Chen, I have already practiced chakra." Yushi ran to Chen and said to Chen, "Well, it's been so long. You only cultivated the chalk stance, and I have to say that Yuchizi's aptitude is poor enough." Chen looked at Yuchizi and said, ATK, what's wrong? Look at Chenying, you haven't practiced at all. Chakra out. Yukiko looked at Chikage Kuroha. Now the relationship between Yukiko and Kuroba Chikage has eased a bit. It's not as rigid as it used to be. Yukiko has forgiven Chikage Kuroha. I'm sorry Yukiko, but I didn't tell you. I already practiced chakra. I thought I didn't tell you so I didn't hit you. Fuheiyu Chenying said to Yukiko with an apologetic expression. And Yukiko's face was very stiff and I looked at Hei with embarrassment and couldn't believe it in her eyes. It seems now that you have Shizi's aptitude, it should be the worst, alas. Chen shook his head and sighed. My aptitude is the worst. Yukiko looked at Kuroba Chikage gloomily and said, Chinkage, why didn't you tell me if you cultivated 970 carat? Are you still taking me as a friend? I didn't before. Say, it's because I'm afraid you will be hit. Kuroba Chinkage said with a smile, but Yukiko looked at Kuroha Chikage's smile, and no matter how she looked at it, she could see that she was black. 3 inches then why are you going to tell me now? Yukiko asked depressedly. Of course it's because you have practiced chakra now. It's time to take a hit. The smile on Kuroba Chikage's face more and more intense. But Yukiko's mood is getting worse and worse. Originally thought that she was no worse than Kuroba Chikage, but Yuki was very happy to come. Chen, do you think you have secretly instructed Chikage? Yuchizi looked at Chen, and stared at Chen suspiciously. Otherwise, for Shungying Heiyu Chenying, practiced chakra faster than her. Yes, Chen must have secretly instructed Heiyu Chenying. No, I don't. Chen shook his head. What he said was true. He really didn't secretly guide Heiyu Chenying. All of this is Heiyu Chenying's talent. Of course, in fact, Heiyu Chenying's talent is not strong, but there is no harm in comparison. The type is comparing Yukiko, and the damage comes out immediately. It seems that Kuroba Chikage is stronger than Yukiko's talent. Chapter 103. Conan's suspicion of Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai, what are you looking at? On the way out of school, Ayumi turned to Xiao Ai and Conan who were walking with them. Looking over, he is also very concerned about Xiao Ai Conan, and is together with Hyuga. How to think how suspicious. Conan followed Xiao Ai's sunshine and saw that a classic car was parked at the door of a bar. Conan instantly recognized the Porsche 356A. To see such a rare car, Conan was a little surprised. I didn't think much about it. I thought it was Haibara Ai's curiosity. But then, just when Conan was about to turn his eyes away, Nishido was dressed in black. Conan was stunned. Then Conan is excited. Gin, vodka. He was also the one who gave him the poison in the first place. Conan immediately wanted to run over. Hello. What is Conan going to do? Mitsuhiko grabbed Conan's aisle. Conan, did you find something interesting and want to play secretly by yourself? Yuan Tai looked at Conan suspiciously. Kananan didn't want to talk to Mitsuhiko and the others. Because of the gin and the wine, they were already in the car. In the end, because of Mitsuhiko and Yuan Tai, Conan could only watch Jin open high. What are you two doing? Conan said angrily to Gendu and Genta. If it wasn't for the two of them, he would have run past. If it wasn't for Amen, you'd be a corpse now. Xiao Ai gave Conan a calm look, and Ranyu walked forward. If it was once, Xiao Ai would be afraid now. But now Xiao Ai equals point don't be afraid, she also abused Jin. Conan looked at Xiao Ai and the moonlight condensed. Sure enough, Haibara Ai knew that Jin and vodka. I just don't know how much the relationship is because Hyuga Chen knew each other. Son, do you know them? Conan bit Kiba and asked Haiyuan Jing. And Xiao Ai looked at Conan with a light smile on his face. I know them in the deep chain. Then who are you? Conan is wary looking at Xiao Ai. She has always been very wary of Xiao Ai. Now I know she knows Jin. Conan was even more vigilant. I'm just an ordinary person. After saying that, Xiao Ai ignored Conan. And Yuan Tai still has Guangyi, so they are very confused. They don't know what Xiao Ai and Conan are talking about. Home, and now Hanan has always lived here. XR, Hihan, what's the matter with you? What's on your mind? Hiroshi Akasa sat down unhappily when he saw Conan asking. He couldn't help but Heiji Hattori also looked at Conan and 40 still had ice on his face. The wound that was beaten by Chen last time is still swollen, and half of his face is swollen. F 827,570 inches I see Jin. And vodka. After Conan Hai came for a while, he told the news anyway. None of them are outsiders here, and they all know the truth, so Minami doesn't mind telling them. What 9 inches Hattori Heiji couldn't help but say in surprise, but just as he moved, he touched the wound. He stood up all of a sudden. The wound on this face really hurts. Besides, 2 Kiba have been knocked out, and I haven't inserted Kiba yet. I have to wait for the swelling to subside before I can insert it. That's why Hattori Heiji was invited. After a few days of leave, you should have no problem with your ears. I said that I put vodka in the gin. Conan said to Hattori. In a bar, they happened to be walking out of it. Conan thought about it. Then he regretted it. He knew he should go to the bar to check it out. But even if Conan thought about it, he couldn't enter the bar. Because he was too young. The bar will never let Conan in. By the way, there is one more thing I want to say. This is very important. Conan's expression became serious, which made Hattori's primary and secondary become serious. 9 inches Haibara Eye is not simple. Conan seriously. Hearing Conan mentioning Haibara Eye, Hattori Heiji immediately thought of the cold-faced little girl beside Yu Shangchen. The one with a very cold expression then thought of Hyuga Chen, and Hattori Heiji suddenly became angry. The fist slammed on the table at once, startling Conan and Hakuten. Hey, what are you talking about? You've learned your hand. Conan looked at Hattori Heiji's test. Said, sorry, I'm not in a good mood. Hattori Heiji was in a bad mood when he calmed down. He was affected by Hyuga Chen. Now Hattori Heiji is particularly in pain, Hyuga Chen. As for how painful it is, this Hattori Heiji himself doesn't know. Anyway, he just wanted to eat Hyuga Chen. She is just a little girl. Although she is with Hyuga Chen, is there anything wrong? Vodka, Conan said seriously. Hattori Heiji's back was slightly wrinkled. Haibara I also knew gin and vodka, which is a very important national interest. And Haibara Kashi's performance equals nothing like it. An ordinary child said solemnly, I suspect that Haiyuan Jing is the same as me. They both took that kind of medicine and became smaller. Conan has almost guessed it now, and he is very suspicious that Haiyuan I is the same as him. Take that kind of medicine and become smaller. Otherwise, even if a child is a child, no matter how mature he behaves, there will be no such thing as Haiyuan Jing's every move, not like a little girl. Originally Conan was early I have doubts. Now Conan is basically determined, the other party is very possibly the same as him. Indeed, she doesn't seem like an ordinary little girl. Hattori Heiji nodded, good money. Although I haven't paid attention to Haibara I. But I've seen it several times. Shang, thinking about her performance, it seems like this is really the case, not an ordinary little girl. But this is just your own suspicion at the moment, and there is no way to be so sure. The other party just took the drug with you on the first floor. Hattori Heiji said that everything needs evidence in the north, and there is no real evidence to prove it now. Just guessing, and unless the other party really said this kind of thing, otherwise they will always just guess. I know, but I have one thing, that is, I want you to take me to that bar to have a look. Conan said to Hattori Heiji. Now Conan suspects. That bar is likely a stronghold of the Black Organization. If you go there, please, it is very likely that you will get some clues to tie to Hattori Heiji's jaw slightly wrinkled. This is very dangerous, and the way he looks now, he can really go out of his way. Chapter 4 of the Thousand Fog. Really came. I saw gin and vodka today. At night, Xiaoai came to Chen's room and said to Chen. Gin and vodka. Chen heard that Xiaoai encountered gin and vodka, and was stunned. The two of them were rare. His car was parked at the door of a bar, maybe there was some business. That bar might be a stronghold of the Black Organization. Xiaoai said. If it was before, Xiaoai would not dare to mention this, even seeing gin and vodka, would be afraid to sleep for several nights, but now, even if gin and vodka appeared in front of Xiaoai, Xiao-ai will not be afraid of them. Because of power issues, Xiao-ai can finish the tiger gin and vodka by herself, but the wine can't make Xiao-ai feel scared anymore. By the way, Kudo Shinichi also saw it. Maybe he will investigate. Xiao-ai said to Chen. Xiao-ai now also understands Conan's character. If it wasn't for Mitsuhiko and Yuantai before, maybe Conan would have rushed forward. However, the consequence of rushing up is that he was beaten to death by the first inspection. This is probably his best result after all gin and vodka. But 067 kills without blinking an eye, and may not do it on the street, but it is still very simple to seize the opportunity to kill Conan. Jin is a world-renowned top killer. To kill the child Conan is not as good as eating and drinking. And the world's top killer. But it's not easy. Don't forget that Shaolin's punch can crack the cement Jinchuriki column. Of course, Shaolin is not ordinary. If you don't need fighting skills and just use fighting, then Shaolin is definitely the top in this world. That's right, Shaolin is so powerful, it's absolutely fine to break your bones with one punch. Interesting. Xiao-ai, let's go out. Chen said to Xiao-ai. Xiao-ai looked at Chen suspiciously. What are you doing out at night? Go to the bar you mentioned and see what interesting things you want to see, Chen said with a chuckle. Xiao-ai also understood. Chen must have wanted let's see if Conan and Hattori Heiji will go there. According to Chen's experience, Conan and Hattori Heiji will definitely go there. Although there are dangers there, if they don't go, it is not them. Go out with a little sorrow, CDCE. Chen said to Mingmei. It's past 9 o'clock. Do you still want to go out? Mingmei looked at Chen and Xiao-ai but they were there. Mingmei wasn't worried about Xiao-ai's safety. 2. What are you going to do? I'll be with you. Yukiko, who was chatting for 5 years, suddenly said, you might as well refine chakra if you have this time. Let's go with Belmod. Chen looked at Belmod who was sitting on the sofa and shouted to her. Tell me to go out with you. Belmod glanced at Chen, and then looked at Xiao-ai, who was unhappy, and said with a slight smile, okay. After seeing Xiao-ai, she suddenly changed her mind. Xiao-ai seems very dissatisfied. Seeing that Xiao-ai was dissatisfied, she was happy. What do you want her to do? Xiao-ai asked Shang Chen in dissatisfaction, looking into Hermod's eyes a little bit badly. Why don't you let me go? Yukiko was very angry, but she saw Chen and the others had already left. So I can only secretly sullen. Where? Belmod asked Chen. Chen's eyes looked at Xiao-ai, saying that Xiao-ai still needs to guide the way. After all, Chen didn't know where to go. Turn left from the front. On my way to school, that small bar seems to have just opened. Xiao-ai said. Anyway, in the past, Xiao-ai didn't remember seeing that bar, guessing it was a bar that had just opened. Here, a stronghold, do you know? After arriving at the small bar, Chen asked Belmod, of course. This is just a guess, it may not be. I haven't paid attention to the news in the organization for a long time. How could I know? Seeing Hermod shook his head, he didn't know that this was the stronghold of the Black Organization. Now Belmod is in the organization. It's like a boat evaporated from the world, these days equals Ji Chen's home, the Black Organization can't find Belmod at all. Gin and vodka, they have appeared here, so come here to see if there is a good show happening. After Chen parked the car, he walked in with Jian Hermod and Xiao-ai. The bar is not too big, and the people in it are not right. Maybe it's not time yet. Although it's past 9 o'clock in the evening, for bars, the peak period of business has not yet begun. This bar is really small. Chen looked at it, then asked Jian Hermod, what do you want to drink? How's Shirley? Bermore looked at Xiao-ai. With a smile on the face. HMPH, childish. Xiao-ai said coldly, it's you who is childish, a little girl who doesn't grow up. By the way, a little girl like you can't drink. Belmod teased Xiao-ai. Don't pinch the two of you. Chen said to the two of them. However, they are really here. Chen's eyes turned. It fell on Hattori Heiji and Conan who just came in. At this time, Hattori Heiji brought Conan here with his face covered and somewhat comically, equals the appearance of a vice thief, equals looking at it, it would be suspicious. Hey, what are you two doing secretly? Are you trying to come here to steal something? The bartender asked Heiji Hattori and Conan suspiciously. Well, sorry, but we are. The first time I came to this place, I was a little curious for a while, so I just took a look. Heiji Hattori said embarrassedly. Why are you dressed like this? The bartender is now suspicious of the identities of Heiji Hattori and Conan. The main thing is Heiji Hattori's dress. In order not to be ashamed, Heiji Hattori wrapped his face. The puffiness on the face is now invisible. But it feels funny and weird. It's a hassle to tell you not to do this long ago. Conan glanced at Hattori Heiji and couldn't help but say. Hattori Heiji turned a Byakugan to Conan. It's not you who is embarrassed. Don't you know, what's my face swollen like? The bastard Hyuga-chen really started. It's cruel. If there is a chance, I will definitely go back. But if Hattori Heiji knows that Chen is here now, what will he do? It's just that Chen is sitting in a relatively corner place, and it's a bit dark inside. So Hattori Heiji simply I didn't see Chen. Come here with a child. The bartender glanced at Conan. You guys, there seems to be no rule that you can't bring children in. Fu Heiji said, and strictly speaking, Conan is not a child, he is already an adult. 2. Chapter 105. Do you know that you are very annoying? Have you noticed anything? Conan whispered to Hattori Heiji's side and asked. Kudo, don't be blind, the bartender is looking at us. Hattori Heiji frowned slightly and said to Kudo Shinichi. Although I don't know if this is the place of the Black Organization, we must be careful in case it is really the stronghold of the Black Organization. They are in the tiger's mouth. It's okay, Kudo, have you forgotten? I have a big advantage. Conan said with a smile. He is a child now. The child's body, which he hated at first, has become Conan's best disguise. Even if he was discovered, he just thought that he was just a child. So this is Conan's current advantage. It's better to be careful. Hattori Heiji felt very dangerous. Don't worry, Conan's words stopped, and Koda looked at a position. Hey, Conan, why don't you talk anymore? Hattori Heiji looked at Conan, but seeing Conan's eyes staring in one direction, Hattori Heiji's eyes were strange. Then Hattori Heiji also looked over strangely, but this look made Hattori Heiji's eyes widen instantly. Damn it, why is he here? Hattori Heiji saw Hyuga-chen and the others in the corner. If Conan hadn't carefully looked at every corner of the place, he wouldn't have been able to find it. Don't look, while he didn't find us, let's not look. Time said, now he doesn't want to be discovered by Hyuga-chen. Conan wants to see what Hyuga-chen is doing here, and whether it has something to do with the Black Organization. And next to Hyuga-chen, it seems that Haibara-I is sitting. At this time, Conan was very suspicious of Haibara-I. This time may be a good opportunity to observe Conan, when we come in. Maybe he has already discovered it. Hattori Heiji said to Conan. Hattori Heiji doubted. When he came in, he was already discovered by Hyuga-chen, so even if he tried to hide himself now, it was just useless. Conan took another look and felt that what Hattori Heiji said was also true. Yes, look at the door from that position. If someone comes in, it will definitely be seen clearly. Thinking of myself, it has been discovered. Conan bit Kiba. Come on, let's go over. Hattori Heiji stood up angrily and said to Conan. Hey, Hattori, what did you do in the past? Could it be that you want to fight with Hyuga-chen? You really can't beat him. Conan quickly grabbed Hattori Heiji. Conan knows Hyuga-chen's strength very well, with Hattori Heiji's small body. I guess it's not enough for a slap. Look at the scars on Hattori Heiji's face. After the last lesson, does Heiji Hattori still have a long memory? Aikato, don't think I'm weak. Heiji Hattori said to Conan. I don't think you are weak, it's just that you want to beat Hyuga-chen. It's impossible, so don't go looking for trouble for now. Conan shook his head, and then said to Hattori Heiji. Conan doesn't want to see Hattori Heiji looking for trouble again. He is not an opponent at all. Why go to abuse? Conan can't understand. Hattori Heiji does have some strength and has practiced kendo. With a wooden sword in hand, he has no problem dealing with an ordinary person. But to deal with Hyuga-Chen, who is suspected to have special abilities and is not an ordinary person, Conan really doesn't like Hattori Heiji, and he is very disliked. I feel that Hattori Heiji and Hyuga-Chen are completely incomparable in terms of force value. However, even if Conan talks badly, he still didn't persuade Hattori Heiji. Hattori Heiji walked over to Chen and the others. Yo, isn't this Hattori Heiji? Chen looked at Hattori Heiji, who came over and smiled lightly. Hyuga-Chen, why are you here? 3 inches. Hattori Heiji's Kazuki is very bad. Is this your home? Why can't I be here? Chen looked at Hattori Heiji lightly. Chen's words made Hattori Heiji very angry, but this is indeed the truth. This is not Hattori Heiji's home, so does he have any problems here? Also, if you have nothing to do, get out of here, don't you know? I know you're an eyesore. Chen looked at Hattori Heiji with disgust. He waved his hand to tell him to get out. Hattori Heiji was very angry. He stared at Chen angrily. The second pair wanted to eat Chen. Didn't you hear that I told you to get out? Belmod looked at Hattori Heiji, and the light was very dangerous, making Hattori Heiji's hair stand up. At this time, Hattori Heiji only turned to look at Belmod. Previously, Hattori Heiji's eyes were focused on Chen's body, so he ignored Belmod at all. But now, Hattori Heiji dare not ignore Belmod. And the feeling in his heart told him, this woman in front of him is very dangerous, and even Hattori Heiji wanted to flee quickly. Let's go first. Conan took Hattori Heiji's hand. A hit here, maybe they will be kicked out, then the purpose of coming here is lost, and Conan also understands that even if there is a conflict, they are not Hyuga-Chen's opponents. Why stay here? There is nothing good about it either. In fact, Hattori Heiji knows this, but Hattori Heiji is angry. HMPH. Hattori Heiji snorted coldly, and was finally pulled away by Conan. You have to come here to find yourself uncomfortable, Chen said while drinking. Speaking of sitting here, will gin and vodka appear? Belmod shook the glass and asked Chen. Actually, it doesn't matter whether he appears or not, but I have a hunch that gin and vodka will appear. Chen said with a faint smile. Chen had a hunch in his heart that the wine and vodka would definitely appear here. Hope for gin and vodka for them. I was able to collide with Conan and Hattori Heiji, and the two of them, and some sparks collided. Exactly. Chen came here to watch a play. If you really can't see the show, that doesn't matter. Chen doesn't care at all. Time passed slowly, and the bartender came to the table of Hattori Heiji and Conan. You are here to make trouble. Come here and order nothing. Hattori Heiji and Conan were taken aback. Then he said, 2 glasses of ice water. Run to the bar to drink ice water. The bartender gave the two of them a deep look, then turned and walked away. Soon 2 glasses of ice water were placed in front of them. Conan drank a 0, and then said, maybe Jin won't come here. Maybe this is not the stronghold of the Black Organization. Wait a minute, it's all here. Let you go now, can you be reconciled? Hattori Heiji said. Conan nodded and let him go now. Conan is really not reconciled. Chapter 106. When did you care so much about Belmod? After 1 o'clock in the morning, Conan and Hattori Heiji are already sleepy. I can't even stop myself from going to sleep. But at this moment, he noticed the change in Hattori Heiji's face at the door, and then pushed Conan. Look, are they gin and vodka? Hattori Heiji asked Conan to look over after hearing the words, and he was shocked. That's right, it was them. Hurry down and don't look at them. Conan pulled Hattori Heiji, said to Hattori Heiji, gin and vodka are killers. Vodka is still average, but gin is a top killer. If you keep staring at him, will surely be discovered. Hattori Heiji also understood, immediately turned his eyes away, and whispered to Conan. It's really them, Urba 0, it seems they have some kind of mission. Belmod looked at Ginju and Volchan lightly, and gave them two a light look. Then drink to yourself. Chen, don't you just want to see them here? Belmod asked curiously. Of course not. In fact, I came here for no purpose, just to watch the show. Chen replied to Belmod. What else could he have in mind? Just gin and vodka, what could he think of? Gin and vodka sat at the bar, just looking at the bartender. The bartender glanced at the gin and vodka, then whispered. Brother, the two people over there seem to have some purpose in coming here. Jin looked at the place where the bartender pointed, and immediately saw Hattori Heiji and Conan, while Hattori Heiji and Conan glared inwardly. It seems that I have been discovered. What should I do? Hattori Heiji asked Conan. At this time, Hattori Heiji couldn't calm down, and he was discovered. He didn't know if they would make a move. Heiji Hattori became nervous when he got here. Don't worry, this is a bar. There are a lot of people in the bar. They shouldn't dare to do anything in this kind of place. Conan comforted Hattori Heiji. In fact, Conan doesn't know whether Jinju dares to do it. After all, for such a vicious killer, it seems that there is really nothing to dare. Big brother, just a high school student and a kid, there should be no problem. Vodka said to the Jin. When we came in just now, the high school cow gave me a look, and Vodka investigated the identity of the high school student. Jin said to Vodka, but this time it was difficult for Vodka. As a sidekick, he is not good at investigating things. Brother, you should let Absinthe help with this matter, I can't do this. Vodka said with a bitter face. Ning, Absinthe, I suspect that she has now betrayed the organization. If I can meet her, I will kill her with my own hands. Chin snorted and said with a cold murderous aura. Absinthe has been out of contact for a long time, and the organization doesn't know her movements, so Jin suspects that she has betrayed. You heard it. Jin said he was going to kill you. Xiao Ai glanced at Belmod and said to Belmod. A cold light flashed in Belmod's eyes. Although he was smiling, there was no warmth in the smile. Although they were in the corner, their hearing was very strong now. No movement in this bar escapes their ears. It's not surprising that Xiao Ai and Belmod can hear it. It's just that Belmod is very angry now. It seems that Jin has to be taught a lesson. The cold light in Belmod's eyes flashed, and then he stood up. Go to Jin. Should we go over? Aren't you worried about her getting hurt? Xiao Ai asked Chen. Xiao Ai, when did you care so much about Belmod? Chen stared at Xiao Ai suspiciously. Caring about her? I care about what she does. I just see if you care. Xiao Ai took a sip of Coke. Xiao Ai, do you think that with the ability of Jin, can you hurt the present Jien or Mod? Chen asked Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai shook her head. No. That's a pity. Jin couldn't even beat her, let alone Belmod. No, if you think like that, you don't think you are inferior to Belmod. Suddenly there was a hint of dissatisfaction in Xiao Ai's eyes. Xiao Ai didn't think she was inferior to Belmod, but in fact, Xiao Ai's strength was really not as good as Belmod. Big brother, what is it? Jin frowned, he was thinking about something, but was interrupted by Vodka. Jin's eyes showed dissatisfaction. That is Absinthe. Vodka pointed to the back. I only saw Belmod walking over with a frosty face. The bartender looked at Belmod. He remembered that Belmod came in with a man and a little girl, but he didn't know Belmod. This bartender is just an ordinary little guy in the organization. Hey, not even Vodka can compare to Jin and Vodka. Also, I just met him. He is only a member of a peripheral organization. Jinju's icy gaze was placed on Jien Mod's body, revealing a strong murderous aura, which can make ordinary people scare urine. Even Vodka is sweating coldly. Is it really okay to unleash murderous intent in such a place? As for the bartender, he looked at Jin in horror, with a deep fear in his eyes. He almost fell to the ground in fright. Jin, I have to say, it's not bad for you to scare children. I heard just now, you said you were going to kill me yourself. Belmod ignored the killing intent of Jin, once. Belmod doesn't care about Jin's killing intent at all. I don't care anymore now. Jin, believe it or not, you dare to show killing intent to me, you are the one who died. Belmod said lightly, but Bel 1.6 Mod said lightly. But Jin had no choice but to believe it, because Jin now felt a strong danger. Absinthe, why did you change the subject here? And then frowned and asked. This place is a new stronghold. Belmod shouldn't know, he is the only person in the organization who knows Akatsuki. How did Belmod come here? Is it really a coincidence? It must be because of him. Jin is subconsciously vigilant. He is very afraid of Belmod. Absinthe, let me ask you, have you betrayed the organization now? Jin asked Belmod. You think so? Bermode smiled lightly. Jin frowned, secretly reached into his coat, and held the pistol in his arms. The first 1000 Fog and Soil chapter. Akai Heidi, Belmode glanced at Jin, and Jin's small gesture of wanting to draw a gun. It was impossible to hide from Hermod's eyes. And even though the Jin was deeply hidden, there was still a faint killing intent in his eyes, which the keen-seer Hermod could feel. Look at the wine bottle on the table. Belmod suddenly reached for it, and slammed it down on Jin's head. Touch tilde underscore the glass shattered and splattered. The wine was spilled on the top of Jin's head, and blood was left from the head that had been cut open. The splattered broken glass splashed, and the vodka was unlucky. A piece of broken glass was stuck in his face, but it didn't hit the key, which was fortunate. This is just to teach you a lesson. After Belmod said coldly, he turned back. Hattori Heiji and Conan, who had been watching, couldn't help but be stunned. What was the situation? The Jin was actually taken by a woman. Big brother. When he came out, he looked at Jin angrily, with a question in his eyes. Originally, all the people who were watching the lively clubbing, after discovering the vodka pistol, couldn't help showing panic. Then a group of people hurriedly ran outside. Conan, what should we do? Run out now. Hattori Heiji asked Conan. Conan thought for a moment, then nodded and walked outside. If you don't leave at this time, it will be too suspicious. Conan glanced in the direction of Hyuga Chen, and then opened up here with Hattori. Idiot. Jin looked at vodka with cold eyes, and couldn't help roaring angrily. Who told him to take out the gun at this time? Didn't you see the panic it caused? It seems that this stronghold will not be preserved. Brother, that absinthe is too much. Vodka said angrily. A wine bottle was knocked directly on Jinjo's head. How could he have done nothing? And his eldest brother's behavior was different from usual. If it was in the past, no matter what kind of back you faced, in this case, you would draw a gun and kill the absinthe. But why is it different now? Vodka also, dare not. Where does vodka know? Jin is not because you don't want to do it, but because you don't dare to do it. At the moment when Jin was about to start, he had a feeling in his heart that as long as he dared to shoot, there is absolutely no way to survive. Although this is just a feeling, the sense of crisis that has been cultivated over the years. He believed in his own feelings very much, so Jinju didn't dare to move the sheep in the end. What should we do now, brother? Vodka hurriedly asked Jinju. It is estimated that the police will come over soon. Kill him, then we leave. Jin glanced at the bartender with a murderous look in his eyes. Vodka didn't hesitate, and immediately shot the bartender. Vodka was taken aback for a moment, because the gun was not hit, and was actually dodged. A cold light flashed in Jinju's eyes, and then he kicked the opponent with a kick, and the sound of breaking the air exploded. And you still kicked the bartender's neck. If he could hit it, he would definitely break the bartender's neck. However, in the face of this fierce kick, the opponent actually reacted and avoided it by taking a few steps back. Who the hell are you? Jinju looked at the bartender with a murderous look on his face. Ordinary members of the peripheral organization will never have such a situation and use the other party. Jinju also specially investigated. There is no such skill at all. So ruthless obviously. Either this guy is hiding deep. Either he is no longer him, and someone else has replaced Jin to know that some disguise techniques are so powerful that they can be superb. It is very difficult to make him not recognize it. And the other parties reaching out made Jinju feel a slight threat. After Belmod reached Chen's side, she couldn't help but be surprised. She really didn't see that the bartender was unusual. Of course, it is also seen in this that Hermod did not go to see the bartender at all. Belmore looked at Chen, and asked Chen curiously, do you know who this person is? Chen Tan spread his hands. Chen didn't pay attention to this bartender before, but now it seems that this guy has some strength. But Chen didn't care about the other party. After all, his power was nothing to Hyuga Chen. The fight between Jin and the bartender continued, just as Jin was about to shoot. The bartender kicked Jin's gun. In terms of combat power, That bartender and Jin are about the same. Vodka watched the battle between Jin and the bartender, feeling dazzled. He didn't know how to shoot, and the pistol he was holding didn't know whether to shoot. Because now his eldest brother Jin is too close to that man, if he takes action, maybe it will hurt Taij Jin. Vodka hesitated, not knowing whether to do it or not. I wanted to ask if Jin needed help, but I saw Jin's serious appearance. Vodka didn't want to disturb either. What if it affects the gin and wine? You must know that the masters are tricks, but they must not be sloppy in the slightest, otherwise, they will wait for the ending of death. Although the strength of vodka is not strong, it is still known. After all, I've been with 857 with gin for so long. Can't you know this? The bartender kicked out the gin, then took the gun out to the head of the gin. And Jinju pointed a gun at the bartender's head like, "Tell me, who are you?" Jinju's face showed cold murderous intent. The bartender Fangmo did not answer Jinju's question. 2 inches. Do you think that if you don't tell me, I really don't know who you are? Jinju looked at the bartender coldly. You can't have this hair, right, Shuichi Akai? The bartender looked at Jin in astonishment after hearing the words, and then took off the human skin mask on his face. Yes, he was indeed Shuichi Akai. Didn't expect Jin to recognize himself. Now that it has been recognized, there is no need to hide it. There must be. How did you know it was me? Jing Shui asked Jinju suspiciously. Kaizi thought that even if he was very familiar with him, he would not even try to recognize him. HMPH, don't forget that we are old friends. How could I not even recognize you? Jin said with a cold snort. Come. As the saying goes, the person who knows you best is you. Jin didn't think much about it before. The current enemy found that the bartender was unusual. Under the confrontation, Jinju has roughly explained his identity. And there is a guess in his heart that tells him that this is Hideo Akai's kind of straight. Chapter 8 of the Thousand Fog. When Judy met Belmod, it was really interesting. Chen watched Jin and Shuichi Akai, these two guys meet and fight. So it didn't come in vain this time. By the way, Xiao Ai, you should know Akai Shuichi, right? Chen asked Xiao Ai. Xiao Ai glanced at Chen suspiciously. Xiao Ai did not know Akai Shui equals. Akai Shui had never been in contact with Mingmei. It's fine if you don't know each other. Chen watched the fight between Jinju and Akai Hideo, feeling quite interesting. The fight between the two was very intense. The strength of Jin is strong. But Akai Shuji's strength is not weak. These two people should be half a pound, and neither one can gain the upper hand in a fight. As for Vodka, Vodka can't help at all, and can only stand there stupidly, watching the increasingly fierce battle between Jin and Shuichi Akai. Bang, L equals a gunshot rang out, and the Vodka tumbled quickly and hid behind the cabinet. I was extremely terrified. The shot just now was aimed at him. If it wasn't for the Jin, I really honed some abilities. The Vodka may have become a corpse. Big brother, hide Akai, there are helpers. Vodka shouted at Jin. Jin and Akai Heidi equals have been separated. Jin looked at Akai Hideiki coldly, and his eyes flashed with murderous intent, especially the blood left on his head, which made Jin look like at this time. It's terrifying. Jin's injury wasn't caused by Shuji Akai, but when Belmod smashed a wine bottle before Shuichi Akai. Jin looked coldly at Hideo Akai L. This guy is the enemy of the organization. He once infiltrated the organization. The code name Rye Whiskey is called Silver Color Bullet within the organization. However, because of his identity exposure, he can only escape out of the organization. Akai Shuichi's identity was exposed, or because of the reason of arresting Jinju. At that time, Jinju was also being chased in embarrassment. Naturally, he hated Akai Shuichi very much. Brother, the situation is not good for us, let's retreat. Vodka shouted at Jin. The gunshots have already been heard, and someone must have called the police. If the police arrived, it would be much more troublesome to escape. Going down can only suffer. Vodka doesn't want to be caught by the police again. Last time, a number of them came out, but this time if they are caught by the police again, then there is no possibility for the organization to go again. Save them who are caught again, because they think they are trash, and being caught twice is not trash. Maybe it is not to save them. Instead, they get rid of them. So now Vodka only hopes that the Jin brother can be reasonable. He knows Jin and Hideo Akai's grievances, but this is not the place, nor the time. Very good. Has Hiro Ito been killed by you? Jin asked Hidekai. Hiro Ito was the name of the previous bartender. Now it was given to a bunker by Hidekai. Then there is only one possibility. He has been killed dead. Dead indeed. But he didn't kill us. He killed himself. Akai Shuichi said lightly. At that time, Akai Shuichi and the others caught the bartender, but unfortunately the other party committed suicide. They are very loyal to the organization. They feel a headache when they think of a peripheral member who is so loyal to the organization. However, the peripheral member's the most loyal. It does not mean that the members of the internal organization are loyal. There are a lot of traitors, and Jin is almost fighting alone. Next time, I must kill you. Jin said harshly, and then glanced at Hyuga Chen in the corner. Then he turned around and prepared to leave. It was Hyuga Chen, a person who didn't know the depths. The last time he was arrested was because of Hyuga Chen. And in Hyuga Chen's hands, Jin has been eaten several times, so it's no wonder that Chen is not afraid. Akai Shuichi looked in the direction Jin was looking at, and when he saw Hyuga Chen and the others, his brows instantly wrinkled. But now is not the time when Jin wants to leave, but this does not mean that Akai Shuichi will let Jin leave. He punches at Jin, and since it is exposed this time, then find a way to catch Jin. Stay, you can't let Jin run away, but Jin doesn't want to entangle with Hideo Akai, you can't keep me. Bang bang bang, 3 shots in a row. Directly repelled Shuichi Akai, and Shuichi Akai hurriedly dodged. Even if he was hit, he would have been killed. After dodging, Shuichi Akai wanted to chase again. When he killed Jin, Jin had already left with Vodka. He didn't even want his beloved car. He just stayed here. After Jin left, Hideo Akai didn't chase after him. Meaning, the ability of Jin, there is no hope that Akai Shuichi wants to catch up. Akai Shuichi turned his head and looked at Hyuga Chen and the others. You seem to know me. Chen looked at Akai Shuichi, faintly asking the first question. Looking at Shuichi Akai's eyes, it seems that he knows him, or has investigated information about him. But thinking that before, they seem to have investigated themselves, so Chen is not surprised. Akai Shuichi did not speak, and finally put his eyes away on Belmod's body. The black organization's Belmod, Akai Hideo, of course not ignorant. A bullet flew towards Belmod, and Belmod just turned his head and avoided the flying bullet. Juti walked in with a murderous look on his face and looked at Belmod, the anger in his eyes almost turned into reality. Little girl, you have to hold the gun. It's not good to go on fire. Bermode looked at Judy lightly and said, Bermode, I want you to die. Judy fired angrily. A series of gunshots sounded, but Belmod's body. It was as if Judy, who was equipped with Yuden, Jiao Dahao, with good marksmanship, was installed, and the inspection did not hit Bell. Mead makes Judy doubt herself. Mr. Judy, why are you so irritable? Hyuga Chen said. Chen, why are you here and sitting with this woman? Judy stared at Chen very badly. At this time, Judy had taken off her glasses and the light was not as bright as before. It's mild, but a little chilly. This is actually not important, but I didn't expect Teacher Judy to be so unusual. Chen Dan said with a smile. Akai Shui frowned. Before, he had seen with his own eyes that Belmod opened the head of Jin with a bottle of wine, and he was still a little wrong at that time. Shin, the key is that even in this way, Jin didn't dare to do anything, which shows that Belmod definitely has reasons for Jin to be afraid, especially now that Judy didn't even hit Belmod with a few shots. The First Thousand Fog Chapter 9. Hyuga Chen and the others, Judy and Akai Shuichi, were the only ones who killed their father. The atmosphere was very delicate at this time. Judy looked indifferent. Seeing the enemy who killed her father, Judy was a little excited. Bermode, finally let me meet you. So what, can you kill me? Bermuda looked at Judy lightly, looking at Judy's appearance, as if he had a deep hatred with her to hate. But Belmod doesn't even know what hatred is. After all, Belmod has killed too many people, and it's not surprising that I don't know. After a while, the sound of the siren sounded, making Hidekai's face slightly change to Hideiki Akai. They shouldn't be touched by the police, otherwise, they will only to be sent back. Judy, let's go quickly. Akai Shuichi said to Judy. Judy did not answer Hidekai's words, but rushed towards Belmod. The fist was directed towards the seer mod. You're useless to me with a gun, do you think it's useful to me with your bare hands? Belmod hand held the fist that was hit by the car. Although Judy's strength is not small, it has no deterrent effect on Belmod. The fist was caught, and Judy raised her leg and swept toward Ermod, a kick that could kick the shards of solid wood. But this seems to Ermod. It was very ordinary, Belmod didn't even notice it, and when he twisted 593 Judy's arm, Judy's body lost her balance, and the kicked out equals foot missed. In addition, Judy was still on the ground, looking a little embarrassed. She raised her head and looked angrily at Belmod. Judy, the killing intent in Judy's eyes was still undiminished. When Akai Heidi saw this, he ran over to rescue Judy, while Belmod looked at Akane Hyde disdainfully, and picked up the wine bottle on the table. Towards Hideo Akai, threw it. Bang! Akai Shuichi fell to the ground with blood all over his face. His head was dizzy. Why did this wine bottle fly so fast? Akai Shuichi, who is so skilled, didn't block this wine bottle. Now Akai Sho equals Kazuko, the wine is the same. It's really connected with fate. By the way, I still have some grudges with you. Belmod looked at Akai Hyde -1 with coldness in his eyes. Akai Hideyoshi got up, looked at Judy and fell into contemplation. Now whether to save D equals the police will come, and he will definitely be taken away. Although there will be nothing in his capacity, it is certain to leave Neon. Akai Heidi, I don't want to leave, the task given to him has not been completed. Akai Hyde, after weighing the pros and cons, I chose to leave by myself. After getting up, Akai Heidi, flee quickly, the police will come soon, Judy shouldn't be in danger, probably. At this time, Akai Hyde equals can't control so much. Sometimes for the mission, you have to sacrifice, even he was ready to sacrifice himself. Your companion seems to have abandoned you. Belmod looked at Judy playfully, wanting to see what Judy's expression was. However, Judy had no other expression. He just stared at Ermod with hatred, and wanted to tear him apart. I want to know, why do you hate me so much? Bermore asked Judy. Because you killed her father. Hyuga Chen said to Belmod. Judy glanced at Chen, she didn't know how Chen knew, but it was true, Belmod killed her father, and also tricked little Judy into saying her father I fell asleep. I knew that my father woke up and had the habit of drinking orange juice. So Judy went to buy orange juice, and she was spared. Even if she hadn't bought orange juice for her father, Judy might have died in Belmod. She was killed by a fire. Is that so? Belmod has no impression. After all, many people died in her hands, and it is normal for Belmod to not remember. Then I am now shout CDA__J kill her. After all, she's pretty, and she's your teacher. Bermode looked at Chen deeply. Now Judy's life and death are in the hands of the master. If Chen doesn't mind if she kills Judy, then Judy is dead today. Judy's eyes are on Chen. Judy's eyes are a little complicated at this time. It's not because her life and death decision is in Chen's hands, it's just that Judy didn't expect him to have a relationship with Belmod. I don't know why Judy's heart is a little disappointed. After all, it's mine too. Teacher, let her teach me foreign languages. Chen don't have a meaningful smile, Xiaoai doesn't know why, but it doesn't feel like a good smile. Because Chen said so. So Belmod let go of Judy and directly let go of Judy. Mr. Judy, I think you should hurry up and leave now. After all, what you have in your hand is not easy to explain. Chen pointed to the gun in Judy's hand and said to Judy. Judy's heart was complicated and she glanced at Belmod. Then she said coldly, next time I meet you, I will definitely kill you. You. Belmod didn't even look at Judy. Judy's ability to kill her is basically impossible in this life. Judy left. Soon after Judy left, the police also arrived here. The team came here. After seeing Chen, Mawako gave Chen a white look, and then walked towards him. What's going on? It's so late at night that I have to run out. Mawako sat next to Chen and asked. Officer Sato, I think I have to take them back. Takagi came over and looked at Chen with a bad moonlight. The police officers of the Metropolitan Police Department, because of Mawako, did not have a good impression of Chen. When I am in charge of the case, you don't need to intervene, Officer Takagi. Mawako looked at Takagi lightly then Mawako's eyes looked at Tatsuya. We came to this bar to drink and then two people had a conflict and got up. Things are like this. Chen said to Mawako, okay, then, Officer Takagi, you should stay and take charge of the investigation. This is also a chance for you to make a contribution, yes. Mawako stood up and said to Takagi What about you? Takagi asked subconsciously. There is no need for Officer Takagi to worry about this. After Mawako finished speaking, she went out with Chen and the others. And Takagi was very angry, and let Hyuga Chen go away so easily. This is too ancestral. This matter involves guns. It's so easy to let a suspect go, even if it's not a suspect. This is also a perpetrator. Gao Ben's election is very bad, and other police palaces are equally angry, but they have no ability to change the outcome. After all, Mawako's position is higher than they are much taller. Now Mawako is already a police department, just like police officer Moon Tung-tu. They are both police departments. Even police officer Moonlight has no right to order Mawako. Chapter 10:10. Judy arrives. You go back first, I have to deal with things. Mawako said to Chen and the others. After all, there was a shooting case. Although no one was killed, it must be investigated. Mawako couldn't leave either. Saying that, Mawako glared at Chen. Hey, Mawako, Yukiba glared at me. It has nothing to do with me at all. Chen said to Mawako. Mikako doesn't think it has anything to do with him, does it? This matter really has nothing to do with Chen. Even if Chen doesn't come, something will happen to Zhao. Obviously this time is an operation against Jin. Otherwise why is Hideo Akai equals and Cha Di are nearby, but I don't know if there are any detectives based on him. Anyway, I'm busy today and I wanted to take a rest. Mawako said angrily. 6 inches that's troublesome for Mahitian, so let's go first. Said Chenji Belmod, Xiao and got into the car. Afterwards, Mawako returned to the bar and began to ask the police officers to investigate, but there was nothing to investigate. If Jin is going to run, how could he be caught? Certainly not leaving the slightest clue. So is Akai Shuichi. The next morning, the doorbell rang. 3. Miyano Akemi was puzzled. Who came here so early? Although she didn't know, Miyano Akemi still walked over to the door and looked at the woman standing in front of the door. Miyano Akemi looked suspicious. This woman Miyano Akemi do not know. I want to see Hyuga Chen. Judy said to Miyano Akemi. That's right, the people who came here were naturally Judy. Judy came here to find Chen, or to be more precise, they came to Belmod. Miyano Akemi frowned. Although Judy said that, Miyano Akemi did not let Judy in. An unknown person must not be allowed in. May I ask who you are? Miyano Akemi asked Judy. Hey, Master Judy, why are you here? Little Izumi Yuhiko just came out. After seeing Judy, she looked at her in surprise. Guan Yimingmei saw that little Izumi Yuhiko knew and was her teacher, which meant that she was also Chen's teacher, so she let Judy in. Mr. Judy, why did you take off your glasses? I almost didn't recognize you now. Little Izumi Yuhiko looked at Judy and said. As soon as she took off her glasses, Zhu Cheng's temperament changed. It used to be very good. Get along, but the temperament is very low now. Judy didn't speak and walked into the room directly, leaving little Izumi Yuhiko somewhat confused. So why did Judy seem to be angry with Fan? Could it be because of Chen? I guess that's the only possibility. Suddenly, little Izumi Yuhiko's face showed an expression of watching the show, and she walked directly into the room. In the living room, Chen was having breakfast. When he saw Judy coming, He was not surprised, because Chen had already guessed that Judy would come. "Where is Belmod?" Judy looked at Chen and replied unkindly. Chao Xian came to seek revenge for Belmod, even yesterday, knowing that she was not Belmod's opponent, but she still came every day. Feiken also guessed that she would be you, but she didn't expect Judy to come so early, just before dawn. "Sit down, isn't it tiring to stand all the time?" Chen motioned Judy to sit down. Judy looked at Chen, and finally sat down slowly, keeping her eyes on Chen. "You shouldn't let Belmod run away, right?" Judy looked at Chen A3 suspiciously. "Am I afraid to let Belmod run away? Do you think you can beat Belmod? Honestly please. What she's doing now is giving away people's heads." Chen looks at Judy and Meaty's behavior as giving away people's heads. In terms of strength, Judy is far from being comparable to Belmod. Isn't she here to give away people's heads? You know the kindness between me and Belmod 9 inches. Judy looked at Chen, but she rarely mentioned this. Obviously Hyuga Chen is not, so how did Hyuga Chen know about it? Well, understands something bar. Chen nodded lightly. 2 inches. Where is Belmore now? I was a little tired last night. It's still resting now, so please don't disturb her, Mr. Judy. Judy's face changed, and she was about to stand up, but at this moment, Judy felt that she couldn't get up. Sitting on the sofa, she couldn't move, and she couldn't stand up at all. What did you do to me? Judy's face changed slightly and looked at Chen. Aren't you having sex? Mr. Judy hasn't had breakfast yet. Sit down and have a breakfast. Chen said with a smile. Judy struggled only to get down, and found that she still couldn't stand up. It was like she was glued to this. Chen ran by super glue. Xiao Ai came out of the room and yawned. After seeing Judy, her face suddenly showed a good-looking expression. Judy appeared here. Needless to say, Xiao Ai knew that it must be because of Belmod. Yesterday, Xiao Ai already knew that Belmod killed Judy's father. Judy is here to report her position. Let that woman be a human. Now there is a good show to watch. I really want to see her mod. I'm flat, but it feels a little impossible. Just a Judy. I really can't do anything to Belmod. Xiao Ai sat down. The moonlight looked at Judy lightly, and when she looked at Xiao Ai, Judy felt a little uncomfortable. Comfortable. I feel Xiao Ai's moonlight seems to be pitying her, which makes Chetty arrogant. But thinking that the other party is just a little girl, don't bother with her. Hyuga Chen, that woman or mod is not. What a good person 3 Judy said to Chen. Who said I'm not a good woman's 9? At this time, Belmod just came out, and when he heard this sentence, Belmod was a little upset. So it's you. Belmod looked at Judy lightly, and Judy looked at Belmod, as if about to spew fire. Xiao Ai, what's going on? 3 Mingmei didn't know the situation, so she asked Xiao Ai in a low voice. Judy didn't seem to be looking for Chen, but Belmod. It's Belmod's enemy. Xiao Ai said to her sister Mingmei that High 5 Mingmei nodded. Belmod's former enemy. Absolutely not less. After all, as a member of the organization, Belmod's hands are full of blood. You dare to come here, aren't you afraid that I will kill you now? Belmod looked at Judy lightly, bringing unimaginable pressure to Judy. However, if Rongcheng was really afraid, she would not come here. Judy glared at Belmod angrily. Why did you kill my father? 9 inches. Because me and your father are enemies. Isn't it natural to kill your own enemy? Of course, you can choose to avenge me now, but you don't have that power. Belmod looked at Judy and said ruthlessly. Chapter 10-11. Belmod tell you, Mr. Judy, although you are not convinced, you are not Belmod. Chen looked at Liuan and said. Judy looked at Belmod with a strong look in her eyes. What about hatred or an opponent? Can she see her mod, the murderer, at large? Chen, I want to talk to her alone. Bermode suddenly said. Chen glanced at Bermode, then didn't say anything, just nodded lightly, but Chen was curious about what Bermode would talk to Judy. Judy went back to her room. Of course, Judy was reluctant during this period, but she was forcibly taken away by Belmod and humiliated. Facing Belmod, Judy doesn't seem to have the ability to resist, so how can you take revenge like this? 2630 inches. Hey, what do you think they will talk about? Xiao Ai raised her head and asked. Why is curiosity so heavy? Let's eat your meal. Chen tapped Xiao Ai's head gently with his chopsticks, making Xiao Ai very angry. Xiao Ai glanced at Chen, although Chen didn't show it, but Xiao Ai saw it, and Chen should be very curious. After breakfast, it's time to take you to school. After Chen and the others finished breakfast, Belmod seemed to still have a heart-talk with Judy, while Chen was sending Xiao Ai-Chen to school, and after sending Xiao Ai to the single school, Chen also went to school, and stayed in the neighborhood. It's not as interesting as school. I thought you weren't coming. Little Izumi Yuhiko looked at Chen, who walked in, and said, a good student like me, how could I not come? Chen said with a smile. However, Chen didn't realize that, even the gentle Xiaolonji cast a contemptuous look at Chen. Did Chen really not see it? Well, Chen actually saw it, but he had to pretend I didn't see it. Urchin said that he must be in his own position. Soon after, Heiji Hattori walked in with his eyes open to Yuhi. He didn't sleep well, so he opened Yuhi's eyes, and his eyes were a little angry. Chen is a bit baffled. Yesterday, he didn't stimulate Hattori Heiji very much. Why is Hattori Heiji bitter towards him now? How does Chen know that after leaving the bar yesterday, after Hattori Heiji returned to his husband, he was with Yuenshin? Called Yi, but it turned out to be two quarrel. Now Hattori Heiji has everything on Chen's head. Naru. Kazuya snorted coldly after seeing Hattori Heiji. Yesterday this guy called her for no reason. And it was already very late, and Hattori Heiji's tone was very bad. So Kazuya's tone was not very good. So naturally we started arguing. Shaolin also knows something about this. After all, she and Yi live in Xiao's house now, and they sleep on rocks. Of course, Shaolin can't make phone calls without knowing it, even if she has a good temper. Shaolin, who is in the middle of nowhere, had a kind of swearing. Woo, hey, it's all class now. Why hasn't teacher Judy come yet? Sonoko said strangely. The first lesson was English. Usually, Judy came very early, before the class bell rang. It's a bit late now. Of course this Chen knows the reason, and it is estimated that teacher Judy will not be able to come today. She should still be at his house now. I don't know what to talk about with Judy when I meet Mord. But what made Chen interested was that Judy was here. Looking at Judy who walked in, Chen's face was full of surprise. Judy looked as usual, put on her glasses. She looked very good. There is nothing wrong with it. If there is something wrong, Chen thought it was a disguise after Belmod's disguise. Chen classmate, you look surprised when you look at the teacher. Judy looked at Chen. I'm surprised. Mr. Judy's sudden change is a bit big. 3 was still murderous in the morning, but now he has a very approachable appearance. Can this change be too different? Sure enough, women are fickle. The other classmates were inexplicable, and it was estimated that only the little Izumi Yuhiko could understand. Mr. Judy, your Japanese is suddenly very good. Chen said to Chetty. Judy didn't speak. Originally, the Japanese was very good, but it was just a disguise before. Now Judy doesn't want to pretend anything anymore because the purpose has been achieved. Judy is here. In fact, it was for Belmod, and now that Belmod has been found, Judy doesn't care that much. So now there is no point in hiding. There is a war with you after class. Judy looked at Chen and said. Hearing this, Tan's other classmates suddenly looked at Chen with envious eyes on their faces. This guy is always surrounded by beautiful women, and he is a goddamn high family. This kind of person should be burned to death, right? Chen felt that the thick flame meant that someone was going to burn him to death. Chen directly ignored these guys. They were just a bunch of incompetent guys. After class, Lien Di glanced at Chen then walked out of the classroom. Chen stood up and followed. In fact, Chen is just so faint. What does Judy want to do with him? Judy seems a little strange now that she has come to Judy's office, which is her own office. After all, as a foreign friend, Judy will naturally be treated better than, Mr. Judy, I don't know why you are looking for me. Chen asked Mr. Judy. Chen, I want you to teach me. Make me stronger. Judy looked at Chen seriously and said. Oh, Chen looked at Judy with a strange expression, but Judy looked at Chen without speaking, bit Kiba, and then kissed Chen 7am. Chen was immediately stunned. What's the situation? I know there is a price to pay. If these are not enough, I can pay more. Please promise me that. Judy hides the yuhi on her face. 6yun, look at Chen seriously. Said, what exactly did Belmod tell you? Chen looked at Judy and replied, Chen can be sure that Judy's change is so great that it has something to do with Belmod. I don't know, what exactly is Belmod? What did he say to Guandi? I'm sorry, Chen. Judy didn't answer Chen's words. She put her arms around Chen's arms and looked at Chen with hopeful eyes. Chen said to Judy, and Chen felt that she should figure out the woman Belmod. What did you say to Judy? Chen Gao opened the Pro Huang's office, and Judy stood there for a while, and didn't promise herself. Could it be that she felt dissatisfied with what she had paid for? Judy bit Kiba and had to seek revenge from Belmod, not her strength opponent, so there is only one way. Chapter 10-12. Who is beautiful, Shaolin or I? After Duochen returned to the classroom, Yuanzi, who was very 8 trigrams, immediately came to Chen's side and asked Chen, Chen, what did our teacher Judy call you to the office just now? Yuanzi, do you really want to know about birds? Chen looked at Yuanzi and asked Yuanzi and nodded, wanting to ring, I really want to know, Chen, can you tell me? X8 trigrams, Yuanzi wants to know equals cut news, no way. Sonoko is such an 8 trigrams. Although you want to know, I won't tell you. Saying that, Chen pushed Yuanzi away from him, which made Yuanzi pouted and snorted softly at Chen. Shaolin looked at him. She covered her mouth and smiled softly, and then said, Yuanzi, you still don't want that just to satisfy curiosity, I'm not 8 trigrams. Sonoko will never admit to his 8 trigrams. Well, people from 8 trigrams will not admit to his 8 trigrams. And Shaolin, don't you want to know? Yuanzi looked at Shaolin. She must be young. Lan also wanted to know, but Lan was embarrassed. The fruit is not familiar. Ji Shaolin bowed her head embarrassedly. It seems that the elementary school also wanted to know when teacher Judy was going to ask Chen to go to the office. After all, Judy teacher T rarely calls into the office. Chen, don't ask Chiguo, talk to us. We won't tell anyone else anyway. Yuanzi pestered Chen and said, Hee, do you think I would believe you? Chen smiled at Yuanhua. What kind of Yuanzi is? Chen still doesn't know, if Yuanzi knows it. That can represent the school all Nua. Hey, Chen, I'm so disappointed that you don't trust me so much, woohoo. Sonoko looked fake. That's right, it's really too much. I don't believe in the garden page, he also interjected. Yuanzi, in fact, I also want to believe you, but besides the 8 things, you are also a big speaker, which makes it hard for me to believe that you are making a helpless expression. Indeed, Yuanzi, it seems that it is really a big speaker. If you know it, at least the whole class will know it, and it will definitely spread throughout the school by then. Why don't you just tell me about it? He and Yi Shangchen said in a legend. You are also very friendly. If you want to know, go and ask Mr. Ruai yourself. I knew you wouldn't tell me. Yi Shanwang shook his head. At this time, Hida Izumi Yuhiko pushed Chen, and then whispered to the bottom, Mr. Judy is looking for you for something shameful, so you don't want to say it. What shameful thing? After taking a look, I was really right by the little Izumi Yuhiko. It seems that it is really a shameful thing, but after Chen wants to go back, I ask Bermod, whether Bermod told Judy about you at that time. 8 Of course, this has to wait until after school. Soon one day in the school passed, and it really went by very quickly. Xiaolan, see you tomorrow. Chen waved at Xiaolan and said rightly. Hey, don't you just see Shaolin but not us? He said angrily. That's right, I only have Shaolin in my eyes, and I don't see us at all. It's so annoying, Sonoko said. Is it possible that Shaolin is too beautiful? Then I blocked your Taro. Chen said with a smile. Shaolin's face suddenly became moist with Yuhi, and he and Yuanzi looked at Chen dissatisfiedly, saying that, do you think they are inferior to the younger brother? Although Xiaolan looks really beautiful. But that doesn't mean they take it. Let's go first. Chen and little Izumi Yuhiko left. After all, they did not go home together. Damn it. It's terrible to let him run away. Sonoko said angrily. Wait until tomorrow to clean him up. The same is true of Yi. Only Xiaolin has a sincere expression on her face. Looking at the smile on Xiaolin's face, Tongzhang and Yi are suddenly unbalanced. Xiaolin, are you very happy now? Yuanzi turned towards Xiaoji. Asked. No. Although Xiaolin denied it, but she couldn't hide the smile on her face, and let Yuanzi. He and the others knew that Xiaolin was very happy now. Yuanzi and Huiyu glanced at Xiaolin. Don't you think? Do you know how to hide Xiaoshin on his face? Chen, who do you think is better between me and Xiaolin? Xiao Izumi Yuhizi Baoran asked Chen. Listen, why are you asking me this? Chen didn't know why looking at the little Izumi Yuhiko. Why did he suddenly ask this question? I just want to ask a second. If you don't want to say it, then forget it. Xiao Izumi Yuhi shook her head as if she didn't care. She looked at Xiao Izumi Yuhi, and then thought about Xiaolin. If you just look at the appearance, Xiao Izumi Yuhiping was definitely more amazing, but Xiaolin's temperament that day was like a Buddha. A feeling of comfort. Actually, you two belong to the kind of very beautiful girls. If you really want to say it, then you are on the same level. Chen. Your answer is really cunning. Little Izumi Yuhiko looked at Chen and said. Oh, why are you being cunning? Chen asked with a smile to the little Izumi Yuhiko. Huh. Xiaobao Yuhiko snorted lightly, obviously dissatisfied with Chen's answer. Yuhizi, you won't be mad at 470, right? In fact, what I said is that although you are beautiful, Bulan is not bad. Chen quickly caught up with the little Izumi Yuhizi who was walking in front. Since looking at Chen, there is a hint of contempt in your eyes. What you said is straight, standard scumbag behavior. This is the speech of a scumbag. Xiao Izumi Yuhiko looked at Chen as if she was watching the cast, and Banduochan looked at Xiao Izumi Yuhizi innocently. What kind of eyes are you looking at? I'm not a scumbag. Go back, worker scum-kun. Little Izumi Yuhiko said directly this time. Chen's expression turned sullen. Forget it. If you're a woman or a beauty, I won't bother with you anymore. That guy Hattori Heiji. Don't you find it annoying? Little Izumi Yuhiko turned around, glanced at Hattori Heiji, and then asked Chen. Because Hattori Heiji and Min and the others stopped by, so they are following behind, but Izumi Yuhiko always has a feeling of being followed, and I feel very unhappy in my heart. Ryo turned his head back. Kimono Heiji glanced at each other. Chest Heiji looked at Chen's eyes, with the hatred of the city. How could Heiji persuade him to hate himself so much? Chen thought about some of the things he had done, and found that it was normal for Hattori to hate him. If he didn't hate him, it would be really strange. Chapter 100-14 Fei Yingli came to play with guilt. It's really rare, Yukiko said. Fei Yingli was too busy to invite her, and Yukiko was really surprised. I haven't been busy recently, so I invited you here. Yingli rubbed his head. After being busy for so long, Fei Yingli was going to give herself an admonition. Mom, you should rest, don't be so tired. Xiaolan said to Fei Yingli. Xiaolan knows how hard her mother works, and it hurts her hard-working mother very much. Many times of persuasion are useless. This time, her mother can relax. Next, Xiaolan is very happy. By the way, we won't just sit at home like this, right? It's very helpless, Chen said with a bored face. We think chatting is very happy. Yuchizi said with a smile that 3 Chen is very speechless. You guys are chatting very happily, but I'm bored here, so I can't get in when you chat. If I knew earlier, it would be better to stay at home and play with Xiao Ai. What are your plans then, Chen? Fei Yingli looked at Chen and asked. 027, why don't you go out and play? It's really boring at home. Chen said, especially Fei Yingli's family has nothing to say about it. Well, it's better to relax in the amusement park let's go. Mother, you rarely go to the amusement park. Xiaolan's eyes suddenly lit up and said. 3 inches Xiaolan, don't you really want to go? Chen asked Yin Lan with eyes on her. It made Xiaolan's cheeks slightly moisten. Humph. Xiaolan snorted at Chen Zhao, and then said, "You just said whether to go or not. Of course I don't have any opinion, it depends on your mother's opinion." Chen looked at Fei Yingri and said, "Chen doesn't mind going to the amusement park, although there are a lot of impressions in the amusement park, but the amusement park is quite good." Xiaolan looked at Fei Yingli expectantly. "Amusement park, I don't have any interest." But now seeing Xiaolan's expectant gaze, Fei Yingli also doesn't know how to refuse. And Fei Yingli doesn't want to refuse Xiaolan. Usually, she has little time to accompany Xiaolan. Fei Yingli felt a little guilty inside. "Okay." Fei Yingli nodded. "Hey, don't you ask CECB for my opinion." Kiko said dissatisfiedly. Do you have an opinion?" "I don't have any opinion on what you're angry with Yuchizi. So, I don't know what advice you have, Miss Yuchizi." Chen smiled and asked Yuchizi. "I also agree with going to an amusement park. I haven't been to an amusement park for a long time." Yukiko thought about it, and found that she hadn't been to the amusement park for a long time. Achin and Feiying Li Tibei were all given to Yukiko, a Byakugan. "Since you also decided to go to the amusement park, why would you say that? So many, isn't this nonsense?" Yukiko made me laugh. Chen drove with the people. "I came to the most famous tropical paradise. I said that the last attack did not have much impact on the tropical paradise world, so it's business as usual. In the back, the boss has a lot of background. It seems that I heard Sonoko say that the Suzuki Consortium has also participated in the shares." Thinking of the Suzuki Consortium, Tatsu's heart can't help but think of Suzuki Tomoko. "Chen, what are you thinking? The smile is so evil." Yuchizi pushed Chen and said towards Chen, "My smile is very evil." Chen looked at Yuchizi with suspicious eyes. "Of course, if you believe it, you can have Xiaolan. The smile you just got tired of is the same as one." "Too badass," Yukiko said after pulling Bu Xiaolan. Xiaolan looked at Chen and nodded. She saw it just now, the smile on Chen's face was indeed evil. "Cough, let's go play, don't pursue these." Chen Qing coughed twice, and then said, "Then let's go play the merry-go-round." Xiaolan pointed to the merry-go-round over there and said, "In fact, Xiaolan wanted to play, but I'm sorry." "Sorry, I'm not that childish. So Xiaolan, you can play by yourself." Chen shook his head gently. "Xiaolan, I'll accompany you," Yuchizi said. Chen was embarrassed. "But Yukiko is very interesting about this carousel. Anyway, Yukiko's character is like, Mom, what about you?" Xiaolan asked concubine Yingri. Fei Yingli shook her head gently. The merry-go-round was basically played by children, she was not Yukiko. "Sorry to go straight. Come on, we'll be waiting for you at the cold drink shop next to you," Chen said to Xiaolan and Yuchizi. Then Chen and Feiying wanted to sit at a cold drink shop, and Chen chuckled and said, "Yingri, you actually come out to play. It's really rare. Can't I come out to play?" Fei Yingli glanced at Chen Bai and said, "That's not true, I just think you are too busy to have time to come out and play." "I feel a little surprised," Chen said after taking a sip of juice. "No matter how busy I am, I have to make time to rest, and I also want to accompany Xiaolan." Fei Yingli said, "Actually, I feel sorry for Xiaolan. Maybe I am a qualified mother." Fei Yingli said guiltily. Compared with other girls, Xiaolan has indeed suffered a lot. She started doing housework from Lufa until now. In fact, Fei Yingli had thought about letting Xiaolan live with her. Unfortunately, Xiaolan did not agree at all. In fact, even if Xiaolan lives with Fei Yingli can't take good care of Xiaolan. Even if Fei Yingli is a strong woman, she is a queen who wants to be defeated in the legal world, but she can't even take care of herself well in life. Don't talk about taking care of Xiaolan. Well, I think you're right, you are indeed a mother who doesn't care. Chen nodded. 3 and Fei Yingli looked at Chen with some words. "No, shouldn't you comfort me at this time? Look at me, you said it yourself, you are an unqualified mother, even you think so, let alone standing from someone else's point of view." Chen shrugged. "I thought you would comfort me. It seems that I was wrong." Fei Yingli said quietly, "To comfort you, how do you want me to comfort you?" Chen Danye smiled. and the smile caught Fei Yingli's eyes. I feel like you are thinking of something very rude in your mind, Fei Yingli said. Teacher, as expected of a lawyer, he's really sharp, but Fei Yingli, can you guess what rude thing I'm thinking about? Yingri is only wearing casual clothes, but she can still show Fei Yingli's good figure. Being looked at by Chen's eyes, Fei Yingli's face, Yuhi, if this is someone else, Fei Yingli has already taken the initiative to teach it. Chapter 10:16. I have a credit here. I'm sorry, because of my reasons, I didn't have a good time. Fei Yingli said apologetically, Master, what's there to apologize for? You can eat a big meal made by Shaolin. Meal. This is already very happy. Chen Yugong glanced in the direction of Meifang. Shaolin was cooking rice noodles. If there is no Shaolin in the play, they may have to go out to eat, but if there is Shaolin as a great chef, of course, Shaolin's cooking skills are better at home than in restaurants outside. I always feel a little embarrassed to let Shaolin cook by herself. As a sister, I will help Shaolin. Yukiko stood up and said. Chen glanced at Yukiko, sister. Ha ha. But when Yukiko was about to stand up, Chen squeezed Yukiko. What's the matter? Yuchizi looked at Chen with the moonlight in the 450 room, and really didn't understand why Chen took action to hold her back. With the paper, Shaolin's cooking is not easy, so don't make trouble for an hour. Lan is also very hard. Chen Yu said to Yuchizi earnestly, and Yuchizi looked at Chen with a stunned moonlight, and then became embarrassed. What did she say? Did she only make trouble in the past? Speaking of your cooking level, it should be irrelevant to Fei Ying. Let's go, it's not making trouble in the past, so don't do such a thing. Chen patted Yuindo on the shoulder. He said to Yukiko, Schwanten Chen's words. He directly despised Fei Yingri, and Fei Yingri, who was watching the play, said that he was also shot while lying down, which was really unfortunate. Fei Yingli stared at Chen angrily, and she looked at Fei Yingli as if she was about to kill. Chen turned a blind eye, and Fei Yingli's lethality was really too much. But what Chen said was the truth. The two of them cooking skills are at the level of disaster, and even oil, salt and Chan vinegar can't be distinguished. How to cook 1 inch Chen? You are so annoying. 3 inches. Oh, I'm really sorry for making you angry. Chen said with a slight smile. How can there be such a hateful guy like you? Yukiko couldn't help saying, yes, I am not. Chen stood up. Walk in the direction of the kitchen. Hey, what are you doing? Are you also doing Shaolin a disservice? San, although I know that my cooking skills are not very good. But let Shaolin help a little. I think I can still do it. Chen looked at Yuchizi and said. 3. Although the poisonous ammonia is not very good. But it's still very easy to help Shaolin do what she can. Like washing vegetables. Cut the vegetables, increase the feelings, cough cough. Izumi admitted that in the end, 1 was what he thought. Watching Chen walk into the kitchen, Yukiko lightly sipped a beer and said to Fei Yingli, do you think he will occupy Shaolin? It's cheap. 2 inches. I don't know, I'll take a look. Fei Yingli got up and walked towards the kitchen. Yuchizi saw that he was left alone, and immediately got up and went to the kitchen. Big Mom, Sister Yuchizi, why are you all here? It's okay to help me, I don't need your help. Shaolin looked at Fei Yingri and Yukiko, who came in, and said. Shaolin, why do you feel like you are driving us out now? Yuchizi looked at Shaolin suspiciously. She was suspicious. She really didn't mean that in her heart. Do you think we disturbed you? Shaolin. Fu Yingli said, since you know your son, why don't you go out quickly, because the kitchen is small, and it's very difficult for you to stand here. Chen said while washing vegetables. You should think that we disturbed your affairs. Fei Yingli looked at Chen with dangerous eyes. Then Fei Yingli stared at Chen with her eyes that could see through everything, making Chen have a feeling of being seen through. Worthy of being a queen, she is really powerful. Forget it, since you're here, then come and help. But with your abilities, you can only wash the vegetables. Chen directly handed the washing work to Fei Yingri and Yukiko, although they couldn't cook, but if you can't even wash vegetables, it's really a waste, and it can't be that stupid. So Fei Yingli and Yuchizi were in charge of washing the vegetables, Chen was in charge of cutting the vegetables and killing the fish, and Xiaolin was only in charge of cooking, which was much faster. I have a share of the credit for this. Yukiko looked at the fragrant meal and said. It's really shameless to say it. She was only in charge of choosing the dishes, and she actually said that she had a share of the credit. Those who didn't know it thought it was her big. Chen, are you disdainful of me? Yuchizi asked Chen. To you? No, where did you feel it? It should be that you are too sensitive. I don't. Chen shook his head in denial. HMPH, do you think I'm an idiot? I can easily see it with my eyes. Yukiko snorted in dissatisfaction. I am sorry. I thought you were an idiot before. I'm really sorry. Chen said to Yukiko with an apologetic face. You're looking for a fight. Yukiko snorted softly, then picked up the chopsticks next to her and threw them at Chen. The chopsticks were caught by Chen. With a chuckle, he said, it's not a good habit to throw things around. Fei Yingli looked at Chen and Yukiko with a strange self-reflection. Their performances were too different. Not like friends at all. Xiaolin didn't think much about it. Shang Chen and Yuchizi said, Chen, Sister Yuchizi, let's eat first, otherwise the food will not taste good after a while. I'll let you go for a while. Yuchizi hummed and sat down, ready to taste next Xiaolin's exquisite food. Chen also sat down. Then the husband ordered a piece of raw meat, and seeing Chen Guan put a piece of beef into his mouth, Xiaolan asked expectantly, how does it taste? How could there be a chef Onagawa who has no culinary skills? I wanted to praise it too. Xiaolan's Fei Yingri, her fist suddenly dug up and she couldn't help but want to punch Chen Lai. Are you? Isn't it hinting at me? Fei Yingli felt that Chen was hinting at her. But in fact, concubine Yingri's guess was correct. Chen was hinting at her. No, this is no longer implied. Instead, it was directly stated that the text did not give Fei Yingli any face at all, and the angry Fei Yingli felt that she couldn't continue to talk. He definitely couldn't fight back. As a man, how could he attack a woman? This is the principle of Chen. A big meal is really enjoyable. As expected of Xiaolin's cooking, the taste is comparable to that of a 5-star chef. Chen felt that Wulin's cooking skills were on par with Mingmei's. In fact, Mingmei's cooking skills were also very good, especially now that Ten was cooking. Chapter 1017. There were too many people who knew and stayed at Fei Yingli's house for a day, and then Chen took Xiaolin to drive, and Yukiko stayed at Fei Yingli's house. 3 because concubine Yingri forcibly kept Yukiko, and Yukiko could not refuse to stay here for a few days. She planned to accompany concubine Yingri for a few days. Chen drove Lan home. Xiao Lan, do you want me to take you up? Chen asked, looking at Xiao Lan who got off the bus. If you have nothing to do, you can come up with me. Xiaolin said, forget it, let's another day. Chen waved his hand towards Xiaolin. Then drive straight away. Let's go again. Mo Ben Azusa walked out. Looking at Gao Tian's Chen, she couldn't help stomping. Miss Jian, are you looking for Chen? Xiaolan asked Zhen Benzi. It doesn't matter. It's just that he, the big boss, passed by his own coffee shop, and he didn't bring it down to see it. This is really annoying, and I can't even watch it. 24 inches Mo Benzi said. Xiaolin listened to Mo Ben Azuza's words. Haha equals laughing, and then said, Miss Jian. In fact, this is Chen who believes in you. Then you really believe me. Don't be afraid that I will take the money and run away. Mo Benzi said very helplessly. 3 Xiaolan smiled slightly. Yes, Chen really believes in young Miss Mo Ben. Miss Jian, I'll go up first Xiaolin said to the model. Then Xiaolin went upstairs. The other side. Chen also has returned home. Where's Yuchizi? Why did you go out and lost Yuchizi? Belmod asked to Chen. Yukiko is temporarily staying at Fei Yingri's house. How could I have lost her if I were to live there for a few days? Chen said speechlessly, looking at Ermod. That's the house. Bermode said with a faint laugh. That's right. I have something to tell you. Your teacher Judy has come to see you. Bermode said to Chen, come to me, are you sure you're not here? Chen looked at Bermode and asked, even if he really came, he should have come to see Bermode. Why did he come? No, she really came here to look for you, but unfortunately you are not at home, but you missed it. Bermode said with a special meaning. Ding dong tilde L, I'll open the door. When Akemi heard the doorbell, she went to open the door. After opening the door, she looked at Hattori Heiji and Conan in front of her, and Akemi was stunned. Of course, Akemi knew these two guys, but she didn't know how they came here. It's a bit of a time. Play, let's come to Hyuga-chen. Hattori Heiji said indifferently. Mingmei's brows furrowed, and the person who came to Chen was so rude, Mingmei subconsciously didn't want them to come in. If Akemi's temperament was not gentle enough, she would send them 2 words one by one. Chen Bujing's home, Akemi said indifferently, and then closed the door so that Heiji Hattori and Conan couldn't help but look at each other. Keep ringing the doorbell, Conan said and rang the doorbell again, and Akemi, who had just returned to the living room, frowned. Akemi, who is it? Kuroba-chian asked Akemi. It's Hattori Heiji and Conan, right? Asked a Mingmei little bit of Lee, that's them. But they seem to be looking for you. The tone was a little bad, so I didn't let them in. Interesting. They come to me. Chen's eyes flashed with interest. I'll take a look, Chen said to Mingmei, and then walked out. You two are looking for me for something? Chen asked indifferently to Hattori Heiji and Conan. Hyuga-chen, you finally came out. I thought you were afraid to come out. Hattori Heiji said. 3. Ha ha ha, what are you talking about? I dare not come out. Zan suddenly felt amused, as if he was afraid of Hattori Heiji and Conan. I'm not that patient, Chen asked them. If it wasn't for his curiosity, Chen would never see these two families. This is not the place to talk, let's talk about it in another place. Hattori Heiji said to Chen. He said. Hattori turned around and pulled Conan away, and Chen followed with a smile. Hyuga exhibition, you should know my identity, right? Hanan asked Chen Sheng in a deep voice. That's right, I do know, Kudo Shinichi, you don't want to tell me this, right? Chen faintly netted it. Conan's heart, Shen really. The other party knew his identity, which made Kudo Shinichi's heart a little bit. Is there anyone else who knows my identity? Conan asked Chen Chi. That's it. Too many people know. Can't count. Chen Dan smiled and looked at Conan, looking at Conan's incomparably wonderful expression. 3. Conan's face turned black, and the black one was like a boat with black carbon. It turns out that the identity he has been hiding has long been known to many people. Does my mother have an idiot? No. Conan suddenly thought of his mother Yukiko and asked Shang Chen. She doesn't know, but if she's curious, I don't mind telling her. Chen looked at Conan with a full smile. No, you absolutely can't tell her. Conan's reaction was terrifying, and it's fine if other people know about it. But he didn't want his parents to know. Tisk tisk. Conan looked at Chen. He didn't know what he meant by 297, but he always felt a little bad. This made Conan feel unhappy. Conan looked at Chen. Of course he didn't want Chen to talk nonsense. But there seems to be it also has no ability to stop the other party. Conan's heart is depressed. Now tell me why you want to come out with me, otherwise. I don't mind going straight up high. Chen said lightly. Chen didn't have as much nonsense with Conan at that time. Hattori Heian didn't hesitate and said directly, what did you do to Kazukai? Staring at Chen he 9 inches, he got used to it for a while, and then remembered that Xiaolan said that he had already gone home. Where did he make any noise with Hee? I don't seem to have any trouble with Hee. What are you doing? Hey, if you frame someone, you won't even take it back. Looks like I have to actually do something about it. Chen suddenly felt unhappy. He and Hee have nothing at all, this is framed. You are talking nonsense. Hattori Heiji's eyes were open to Yuhi, and when he lifted it up, he was about to call, but Conan held him back. Mother Hattori Heiji, haven't you eaten enough of the previous lesson? You dare to rush up now, isn't it? Are you looking for death? If you are carried, you will be able to. The 1018th child gave Hattori Heiji a blow. Speaking of what happened to Hai. Chen was equally curious, what happened to Hai? Only then did Fubu Heiji come to him, and Chen was also in the situation of Shin and Yi. After all, Zanhe and Marvin Yi are now good friends. Go back with Yi, Hattori Heiji said coldly. Play. I know, and Yi went back. Shaolin told me. Chen nodded lightly while Conan on the side. When he heard Chen mention Shaolin, his eyes, fat. Didn't that mean, Hyuga Chen, this guy went to see Shaolin? Immediately, Conan lost his calm and stared angrily. Humiliated, looking at his angry and helpless feelings, Chen wanted to laugh out loud. You see Shaolin 72, Conan angrily asked Tong. Fei, how about you? Can you still bite me? Quote. Chen smiled lightly, looked at Conan with interest, and made Conan almost knock Kiba's teeth in anger, and then Chen glared at Hattori Heiji. What happened to Kazuya? He went back with Yi. But her father asked her to stay at home, but she refused. Do you think you bewitched her? Heiji Hattori asked Chen. Chen felt a little strange. He glanced at Heiji Hattori, and then asked lightly, is that why you came to me? Heiji Hattori asked. He didn't say anything, but he obviously acquiesced. What a fool, what does Yi's decision have to do with me? Let's talk about it. Even if I said something to Kazuin, do you have such a big reaction? Chen simply left, thinking that there was something wrong with Hattori Heiji. It turned out to be such a thing. Well, it doesn't seem like a big deal for Tatsuya, but for Heiji Hattori, it's not a business. You only know how to cherish it when you lose it. Now Hattori Heiji Minkaku has lost Kazuha. At this time, he also learned to cherish it, but he has already guided the hospital, hateful. Hattori Heiji roared angrily, then clenched his fist and rushed towards his lips, and his fist hit Chen. Before he touched Chen, Hattori's body flew back, the lion was on the wall, and with a bang, Heiji Hattori almost fainted. I couldn't see clearly at all. How did Chen take action? Anyway, Conan flew out when he saw Hattori Heiji suddenly come back, and then fell to the ground. Is the lesson enough? Chen looked at Hattori Heiji and asked indifferently. Hattori Heiji was very unwilling to bite. What is this guy's strength? So Conan helplessly beautiful. Help Hattori Heiji to help him up. Already eaten so many losses. Don't you have this sex now? MSG Hugachan, you must not tell my mother my identity. Otherwise, RT17N tilde. Oh, otherwise what about you? Chen turned back and looked at Conan lightly. Otherwise, what can you do? You don't seem to be able to do anything. Heiji Hattori, don't come to me. Otherwise, it won't be so easy next time. Chen threatened Hattori Heiji. Chu Lengbucken actually knew that, with Hattori Heiji's character, he would not be threatened at all. It seems that I will teach Hattori Heiji an unforgettable lesson next time. On the other hand, do you want to give Hattori Heiji a little hit suit now? 3. The Hattori situation. I decided to pursue Kazuya. Are you very happy about this news? Chen turned his head to ask Hattori Heiji's watch and guessed that his watch stiffened in an instant. Happy that he was happy. Zayu Shangshan, if you dare to fight Yi's idea, I will definitely kill you. Hattori Heiji said angrily. Oh, would you? Also asked indifferently. When Hattori Heiji said this, he was threatening people at most. Did he really kill people? Would he dare? Damn. Hattori Heiji looking at the back of Nipponji Gen. He could only secretly send Conan Yushao next to the guest to comfort him. Hattori Moji, but he didn't know how to comfort Kafi. Don't worry, Heiji will catch her one day. Conan said to Hattori Heiji. Although they knew that Hyuga was the worst person, they didn't have any handle on Hyuga Chen. Instead, Hyuga Room held his handle. Mostly he was Kudo Shin, this matter. It is the handle held by Hyuga. If you expose this, you won't need Hyuga Chen to take action. The black organization can hunt him down to death. In addition, Conan, I don't know if Hyuga Chen has any relationship with the black organization. It doesn't matter if he suspects that there should be no sex. After all, if he really has a long line, then Hyuga Chen knows his true identity, and the black organization will not let him go. Cold, Hato, are you alright? Conan, I asked Hattori Heiji about the Dao district, and now Hattori Heiji looks very embarrassed. His clothes are stained with ash and his face is a little pale. I'm fine. Heiji Hattori got up. His face flashed. The color of pain hurt. The whole back was soft and painful, and it felt like a bone injury, almost made Hattori Heiji Kuniji lie on the ground. Hey, Hattori. Conan quickly supported Hattori Heiji. He said to Hattori Heiji, why don't you go to the hospital, you look very serious now. Conan was about to make a phone call. Call an ambulance. No. Hattori Heiji hurriedly stopped Conan and refused to let him call an ambulance. If he goes to the hospital, then his parents will know about it and then Rigao Haizang will definitely let him go back, but now Hattori Heiji is not willing to go back at all. Tianyi will still stay here. Hyuga Chen even said that he wants to chase after Hei, so at this time, Heiji of the Public Service Department cannot leave. If a doctor like Finn has any action, he can come to stop it. If he goes back, even if Hyuga does something afterward, okay, he will whip the tomb back. Okay. Looking at Hattori Heiji's persistent appearance, Conan nodded, then let me trick you. Conan said to Hattori Heiji 5, no need. I'm not that fragile. Hattori Heiji stood up stubbornly, he didn't want to show his fragile side. And in front of Kudo Shinichi is his friend and also his opponent. How can you show your weak side in front of your opponent? Are you really okay with yourself? Conan looked at Hattori Heiji suspiciously. I felt that Hattori Heiji couldn't stand still. How did he leave AHPI? I didn't pass the question. Heiji Hattori wiped the sweat from his forehead, and then slowly walked towards Hiro Akasa's house. Heart 3 is okay. Kasa Hiroju's house was not far from here, but even so, Hattori Heiji had a hard time walking. Conan looked at him worriedly. Chapter 1020. Do you believe Shaolin? How did Heiji get hurt by Hyuga Chen? Did you go to him? Dr. Agasa asked Conan. 3 Conan Dianda, if you don't go to Hyuga Chen, how can you be hurt by Hyuga Chen? What are you going to do with him? Ali Boshi Tilda replied to them. When Conan heard the words and just looked at Heiji, let Heiji say it himself, Conan himself can't say anything. Hearing Dr. Agasa's question, Hattori Heiji's eyes were heavy and he didn't say anything. Obviously he didn't want to tell Dr. Akasa. Dr. Ali sighed, guessing that there was something unspeakable. He too. I don't want to ask. Heiji, just take care of your injuries here, and I'll ask you for a leave tomorrow, said Dr. Ali. Hattori Heiji's expression suddenly changed and he said, if Akasa Hiroto asks for leave for me, it is best to use the voice of my father and pretend to be my father. Heiji followed with a sigh of relief, although I don't know if I can help you hide it, but I can hide it for a while. I really don't know why you didn't tell your father, Akasa, and shook his head. If he knew it, there might be a way to help him. Why didn't he let his father know? Of course Akasa Hiroju couldn't know. This is Hattori Heiji's weak self-esteem. He told his father. He didn't want to rely on his father's strength to fight Hyuga Chen. Wouldn't that make him inferior to Hyuga Chen? He had to convince the character of Heiji. He was exactly the same as Kudo Shinichi. 3 Let's take care of Heiji first, and I'll do the transfer. Dr. Ah Shao said. After Akasa Hiroshi opened, Conan and Hattori Heiji quieted down and remained silent. Kudo, do you think I'm stupid and know that I'm not the opponent of that bastard Hyuga Chen? I have to rush up with a second brain. Hattori Heiji clenched his fists, because the back hurt because of the force, but Hattori Heiji was not there at all. The pain in the back. Conan looked at Hattori Heiji. You are quite stupid, but after thinking about it, you still didn't say it. It would be too embarrassing to say it. Actually, we can think of other plans. There is no need for D. Shengen and Hyuga Chendo. Conan said to Hattori. Other plans. Heiji Hattori glanced at Conan, and then asked Conan, what other plans? Do you have any other way to deal with young Hyuga-chan? Where does Conan have a solution? But Conan doesn't want Hattori Heiji to be so impulsive again. IOS, so impulsive to go to Hyuga-chan. He was the one who was injured in the end. 3,921,875 inches also. That bastard said he wanted to pursue Kazuya. You said me, what should I do? Heiji Hattori jumped into joy and surprised Conan. Don't be so excited, Hattori, you have to trust Kazuya. He will definitely not be deceived by that guy Hyuga-chen. Conan he comforted the excited Hattori Heiji. Conan had no other way. He could only comfort Hattori Heiji temporarily. Otherwise, he was afraid that Hattori Heiji would go to Hyuga-chen again. What if Hyuga-chen got impatient and shot and killed Hattori Heiji? If it was someone else, Conan wouldn't worry about Hattori being killed, but the other party was Hyuga-chen. It's impossible for Conan not to worry about Conan's feeling that Ia Shangshin really dared to kill. Maybe if Ping-tu comes to the door again, maybe Hyuga-chen he really knows how to kill. Conan doesn't want to see something happen to Heiji Hattori. Hee, do you believe in Shaolin? On Shaolin, Conan looked at Hattori Heiji unhappily. Kudo, you are running away, right? Are you really not afraid of what Hyuga-chen will do to Morilin? Enough, stop talking, I am like this, there are 2 exercises to stop Zishang. Even if his hand is slapped through Yuhi, Conan doesn't seem to feel it. At this time, Hiroshi Akasa walked in. Seeing that the atmosphere was very stiff, he couldn't help but be stunned. What's going on? Why did you just go out? The work is gone. There seems to be some conflict between the 2 of them and, you or this? Ali Botu asked. Looking at the 2 of them, Dr. Ali wanted to enlighten. After all, the 2 of them we still have to cooperate in the future, such as the commotion is too stiff. How to cooperate? 3 prosperity __. Doctor, I'm fine. Conan reluctantly smiled. Hattori Heiji also reluctantly smiled. They looked at each other and became angry. A feeling of mutual pity. It's fine if it's all right. The hospitalization procedures are done. You can stay in the hospital here with peace of mind. Dr. Ali nodded and said, I'll be watching Heiji here today. Conan, go home and rest. Tomorrow is Monday. You still have to go to school. Ali Boshi said to the village Nan, let me stay here. Ali Boshi, you haven't rested for a long time for research, so I should stay here. Don't worry, I won't be late tomorrow. Conan said to Dr. Ali, no, you 2 can go back. I don't need to take care of myself and stay here. If anything happens, I will call the guardian. I'll deal with it. At this time, Hattori Heiji suddenly inserted his head towards Conan and Hiro Akasa plus. Your injury has not been relieved yet. It's not convenient now. Head. In fact, Hattori Heiji just didn't want to bother Conan and Akasa Hiroju too much. I'm fine, you guys go back. Well, if you really have something to do, just call us. Conan looked at Hattori Heiji and saw his persistent insistence, and he stopped being a director. Hattori Heiji nodded. In the hospital, he is usually not in any condition, not to mention that he can go even if there is something. Call the protector to deal with it. And Hattori Heiji's injury is not a serious injury, his leg is not injured, and there is no problem walking. Then let's go first. Conan dragged Hiroshi Akasa away. Conan, is it really okay to leave Heiji here now? Dr. Akasa said worriedly. How could he convince Heiji that Heiji is also a patient, and he also needs to sleep? No need, he is alone and quiet equals let's go. The more we are here, the more confused his mind is. Conan said. Conan, what happened to Heiji? Dr. Aga couldn't help asking. Why did he suddenly look for Hyuga-chen? What happened?